Now, it's fairly common knowledge that our government wastes a lot of our taxpayers' dollars. This reminds me of when I was growing up. My father used to tell me a story about the $700 hammer. The story begins in Ottawa,
where the Prime Minister of Canada is sitting in his office looking at a bare spot on one of his walls. He decides that a painting would look nice in this area, and so he asks his receptionist to bring him a nail and a hammer so that he can hang a painting. The receptionist finds the proper form that needs to be filled out, and then she hands it off to another worker who approves the request for the hammer, stamps the form, and then hands it off to another worker. This person then makes several copies of the form to be filed into different office folders. A copy of the original form is then sent down to the internal mailroom, where it is sorted and then delivered to another office. A worker in this office makes several more copies for more filing before sending a copy off to another worker, who will dispatch the company that will deliver the hammer. By the time all of this paperwork has been finished, close to 50 people have been involved, each one requiring a salary. And by the time the hammer has arrived back at the Prime Minister's office, the cost to Canadian taxpayers has reached
around $700.
Many people believe that wasteful spending of this nature occurs only at the highest levels of government. But this is wrong. Early on, in 2013, I began to do a little research about a new project that the City of London had been working on. And to my surprise, I uncovered the shocking truth about a tree. This story begins way back in 2011 when a multi-departmental team was created. Workers from Tourism London, planning, parks planning, transportation, forestry, as well as operations got together to find ways to beautify London's downtown core in preparation for the 2013 World Figure Skating Championships. After this project was approved by City Council, work began to bring this project to life. The pots, trees, and soil were purchased, delivered, and installed throughout the downtown core. To my chagrin, I learned that not one single item was purchased within city limits. I felt very disappointed that none of our tax dollars had gone to support any local businesses or manufacturers. By the time all the potted trees had been put into place, close to $120,000 had been spent, and not one penny gave benefit to a London business.
Whenever items are purchased outside of city limits, our money leaves the community, and this does nothing to improve our local economies. I strongly believe that this is something that needs to change.
I wrote a letter to City Hall to ask about how the trees were being cared for, because during this time I had been watching them slowly die, as green needles began to turn brown, and after more than 3 months, I received a rather vague response. I wrote another letter to the city to ask for more details about this project, and I'm still waiting for a response.
Now, one of my many visions for London is to create a way to ensure that all questions and inquiries to the city are answered in a timely and accurate fashion. I want the people of London to feel in touch with what's going on in City Hall. And I want City Hall to be more open and responsive to the community.
We've all seen these trees with their chemically painted designs, and we've all seen them on the verge of dying. And then, quite suddenly, they vanished. But where did they go? My investigation led me to the Springbank Garden Centre, where I found them enjoying lazy days in the summer sun. I was told that the ones that are still living by the end of the summer will find new homes in city gardens throughout the city. I thought that this was a great way to end their career. And then I started wondering about all of these additional expenses that were never accounted for in the original budget, and who would be paying this bill. These trees had to be maintained throughout the summer, then they had to be moved and planted. The downtown pots have been moved several times, and new soil and new flowers have been planted, and all of these things cost us tax dollars. It has become clear to me that this project is nothing more than a big money pit.
Now, one of my many visions for London is to create sustainable ways for us to brighten up and green our downtown core. Now, I understand that it takes a little bit of money to get projects of this nature off the ground and running, but my goal will be to create projects that don't have any more hidden fees or hidden costs, with projects that are able to continue to pay for themselves.
As I've been working on this video, I was wondering about how I would bring the story to a close. And just the other day, I read an article in one of our local papers, which upset me greatly, but also inspired me to realize that the best way to wrap this up would be to talk about one single word: responsibility. The article that I read talked about how Street Connections will be closing its doors due to lack of funding. Street Connections is a community organization that helps the many homeless within our city. They provide food, offer counseling, and other services that are designed to open doorways and opportunities to those in desperate need. While preparing the 2013 city budget, councillors denied this group their request for $20,000, and now they can no longer afford to operate.
So these issues got me to thinking, wouldn't it be better if we had leaders within City Hall that had the intention of creating a safe and healthy environment for all Londoners, instead of the illusion of prosperity that benefits only a select few?